Hey guys, Zach here, coming at you with another video. So before I get into today's topic, I actually really want to point something out to you guys. I have updated my merchandise store. So here's the thing, my merchandise store, I've added quite a few new things. I've added some mugs, some other t-shirts, a really cool Luigi's Mansion 3 custom portrait ghost design thing, if you remember my portrait ghost video from last year. I've added all that cool stuff to the store, and a lot of that funding will help me fund my Luigi's Mansion 4 project. So hopefully you guys will go and check out the merch store, maybe buy something if you want. If you can't, that's completely fine. I just really wanted to bring up the merch store and all that kind of stuff. Link will be in the description down below. But anyways guys, today I'm going to be talking to you guys about Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon and how it compares to Luigi's Mansion 3.
ZakPak, he's always there for you. ZakPak, only on YouTube. ZakPak, what will he do next? ZakPak, let's find out, 'cause it's on with the show.
So if you're thinking, wow, this is kind of a random topic, well, I want to make more Luigi's Mansion content again, because I obviously know that that's kind of what's pushing the channel, so I think I'm just going to try and make a little more Luigi's Mansion content. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because actually someone brought up the idea, and I thought, that's actually not a bad idea, because obviously Luigi's Mansion 3 is very much so a sequel to Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, rather than the original. So I really think it's interesting to bring up a lot of the points of the differences between the two. Now, it's not going to be like the video I did last week or a couple weeks ago, whatever, where it was talking about, like, literally, like, it was really, really highly edited. This is going to be more so of a discussion video with some things obviously thrown up on the screen. So I think I'm going to talk about basically every single topic that was in the original video, in the video I uploaded last week. I mean, not every single topic, actually, because Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon didn't have Portrait Ghost, so, yeah, but without any further ado, guys, let's get into it. Firstly, let's talk about the music. Funny enough, Dark Moon definitely wins with the music. Dark Moon, in my opinion, just has way better music than Luigi's Mansion 3. Like, Luigi's Mansion 3, I think, has some decent-ish music. Like I said in my video last week, it's just mostly kind of forgettable to me. Like, there's nothing that really stands out when it comes to the music. It's just kind of like, there's a couple floors that I think are decent, and then the rest are either forgettable, not bad, or just remixing the first game. So, I can't really say it's an amazing soundtrack, because it's literally just music from the first game, just kind of remixed. Which I guess is what Dark Moon is, but Dark Moon does offer some other really good soundtrack pieces as well that are prevalent throughout the game. So overall, like, the soundtrack of Dark Moon is also relatively small, like the first game, but most of the themes are memorable as well. So, yeah, Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon definitely wins with the soundtrack, in my personal opinion. Alright, let's talk about common ghosts. Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. It's so weird how many aspects of the game is actually better in Dark Moon than Luigi's Mansion 3. Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon just had a way higher variety of common ghosts. Now, you did fight the greenies more than every other kind of ghost, but I never remember that being an abundant problem. Like, I never really felt like I fought way too many greenies. I did feel like there was more variety in the ghosts I was catching. And not only that, there was just more kinds of common ghosts in general. I believe there's about 7 or 8. I don't remember really much off the top of my head. But I know that there's definitely more than the 4 prevalent ones in Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, or in Luigi's Mansion 3. So, yeah, Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon just had way more common ghost variety, and I think, the thing is with 3 mostly just did copy and paste of what Dark Moon did. I mean, you look at the hammers, they are basically what the slammers were, just kind of in a more rectangular form rather than a circular form. Like, you can definitely tell that a lot of the ideas, the slinkers are just the sneakers, and then the oozers are the hiders, the goobs are the greenies. The only unique one is the trapper, but he's the one you don't see. So, and then obviously there's the what's the name of the gob ghost? Is he like gob or gob? The big one that like vomits. There's no that kind of ghost in the game. So it's really just like Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon just had more. And, especially when it came to the ghosts, you need that kind of visual variety, or else the combat gets even more stale because of just how repetitive in nature ghost capturing combat is. So, yeah, Dark Moon just better common ghosts. Better bosses, that one will have to go to Luigi's Mansion 3. Luigi's Mansion 3, in my opinion, might have some of the better boss fights of the whole entire series. Like, you know, the triplets battle was really, really good. Some of the other battles were really good. While there definitely were the stinkers, like Clem's battle with the floaty rubber ducky thingy, the floaty duck. Even that one was better than a lot of the Dark Moon boss battles, particularly the ice boss. I personally could not stand the ice boss at all. I thought it's one of the worst boss battles I've personally ever played in any video game. So the fact that even Clem is not as bad as that just goes to show that Luigi Mansion 3 has way better boss fights by far. Atmosphere. Now, this one's kind of hard because they're basically kind of the same. Like, you know, they're just kind of the same. Like, it's goofy, it's lighthearted, and this is hard for me because part of me wants to give it to 3 because you actually get to interact with human ghosts. It does add a little bit to it. You know, there are some spoopy moments like the girl in the well, you know, but that's more so of a cheap jump scare than anything else. Dark Moon did kind of have some legitimately creepy moments, and I overall thought that the mansion design was better in 2. I thought, you know, specifically the first 2 mansions and the 5th mansion, I really liked the design of the mansions. So I think just overall, the second game had better, you know, like design. Like, there's more cobwebs, you know, even though the 3DS is obviously a weaker handheld, it did look like that these mansions or places were actually haunted. Like, it did feel more like that in the second game that I wish the third game kind of had a little bit more of. There were more darker environments in the second game. There was one moment where the doll was spinning her head, you know, and looking around at you. So moments like that actually, you know, that actually might give this point to Dark Moon for me. Where, like, you know, the part where the girl doll was spinning her head and you looked into the dollhouse, that moment alone gave Dark Moon more creepiness than anything 3 had, in my personal opinion. So, I mean, it's a hard decision because they're both very, very similar, so it's really hard to give an accurate answer, but I'm gonna have to give it to Dark Moon. Structure. Third game, no doubt. I mean, come on. Come on. Like, you can't give it to 2. Like, 2 had the horrible, abysmal mission structure that basically took away any exploration that you'd want to get from the game. It just completely completely destroyed the game. Single-handedly, the mission structure is what made Luigi's Mansion 2 such an unpleasurable experience. It's just something that made me not want to go back. You felt so restricted that whenever you did something, you were automatically pulled back to the lab. And sometimes that did kind of happen in the original game. But like I said, we're not really talking about the original. But even in the third game, sometimes it's like that with the elevator. But you're not dragged right back to the elevator and forced to go on to the next floor. You're allowed to explore the floor as you're going back to the elevator. So there's still more of a sense of exploration. You're allowed to explore a little bit more. So at that point, definitely has to go to Luigi's Mansion 3. Scarescraper. So this one is obviously very unique to this game. You know, it's very unique to Luigi's Mansion 3 and 2 because there's no Scarescraper in the first game. It's kind of hard to really say which one's better because Luigi's Mansion 3 Scarescraper made a lot of improvements from Dark Moon's, but there are still some basic features that it lacks that I remember Dark Moon having. Like, for example, Dark Moon had more options for floor variety. So it's like, you know, instead of having, you know, only 5 or 10 floors, I believe Dark Moon, correct me if I'm wrong, had 5, 10, 15, and endless. Like, there were just more options of how to play. And 3 didn't, like, there were so many things that 3 didn't add that Dark Moon just didn't have in general as well. Like, there should have been a time adjustment thing where you can adjust the time or adjust the difficulty, stuff like that. So it's really hard to say. I'm going to give it to 3 because of the fact that 3 is getting the DLC. They'll add some more variety. 3 added hallways. There's more room variety. So definitely 3 has the point there. But it's still pretty, like, 3 Scarescraper just did not improve much from Dark Moon Scarescraper. Dark Moon Scarescraper is really cool. You know, especially at the time, it was my favorite mode of Dark Moon, just going and playing Scarescraper online, even solo. Like, I would play Scarescraper solo because that felt like more of a Luigi's Mansion experience than the main game did, because I was going from room to room and, you know, clearing floors and stuff like that, so it felt more like a Luigi's Mansion experience. So I mean, I'm going to give the point to 3, but I think 3's Skyscraper, it's disappointing, not because it's bad, because it's quite good, but they didn't change much. They didn't really add much. Yeah, they had the blackout sequences and stuff like that, and a few extra little things, but there's a lot that they stripped away from the Skyscraper that just makes it less pleasurable as a whole. So there you have it, guys. Now, if my math is correct, Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon did better. This is weird to me, because that's why I made this video, because when I was starting to think about it, I was like, you know, Dark Moon definitely did some things better than 3. You know, 3 is a better game, no doubt, because 3 addresses a lot of those bigger issues, which overall makes it a better game, but a lot of those smaller issues that at least I personally have definitely were overlooked in 3, and it just, you know, was very apparent. And I don't know, maybe it's just me, I don't know, maybe I'm just crazy. What do you guys think? Where do you think Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon stacks up compared to 3? I still like 3 more, but Dark Moon definitely had its things that made it unique in its own right. Now here's the thing, right? I'll point this out. I don't like Dark Moon. Everyone knows that. But I appreciate what Dark Moon is. You know, I know Dark Moon is a 3DS entry in the Luigi's Mansion series. It's not going to be exactly as grand as the original. But I respect people who like the game. If you like the game more than 1, cool. If you like the game more than 3, cool. That's your opinion. Everyone's entitled to it. Because that's the thing about the Luigi's Mansion community. Everyone has their different tastes when it comes to the games. And I respect Dark Moon for what it is, but I just don't like the game. So, there's that, guys. All that out of the way. This is a very interesting video to record. I don't know, like, I've never, like, really thought, like, I've always compared 3 to the original game, and I never really thought much about it compared to the second game, so it was really, really interesting to do for you guys. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, make sure to check out the merch store. Link in the description down below. Until next time, guys, I'll see you in the next video.